How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Precision Parkour Podcast. And today we have the one and only AfroPK David Ivey. Thank you guys for tuning in and have a great listen.
Oh wait, today it was 28 degrees. So yesterday it must have been like 32 or something. I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm watching the Art of Motion, all the stories. It's super hot there. And tonight there was like -1 Celsius.
What? Wait, where
Yeah,
you
it's
are, it's
already
minus
this
one?
time. Yeah, this night was
Oh,
-1. During the day it's like 11, 12 Celsius, but
dude, no, that is like way too cold. I would never live in Lithuania for the winter.
yeah, winters are quite hectic, but it's actually very random. Like in one day, you can get like from +15 to -5, and in like few hours. It's so
Jeez.
random. But when it's great, it's great.
Yeah, that is how those places tend to be.
Like, do you live a bit north or eastern
Um,
side, like mid east?
I live in the eastern side of the on like the East Coast, and so our temperature is like really intense. It'll be super hot in the summers. In the winters, it's not like insanely cold. I'm sure it's much colder in Lithuania, but DC's winters sort of suck too. They're just not awful, you know?
Yeah. Like how cold is how cold does it get?
I guess a normal cold day will be about 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, and then every once in a while, the gods will smile upon us, and it'll rain. It'll be like 10 or 15 degrees Celsius, and you'll be like, "Oh my
But
god, it's
snow
so
is
great."
not that often.
Snow is pretty infrequent most of the time. Some winters we get a lot of snow, and then other winters it's just cold as balls, and you hate your life.
Welcome to Lithuanian weather as well.
You
Pretty
said
much
what?
like that.
Oh, it's like
In
that too.
Lithuania, it's pretty much like that. Yeah,
Damn, that's rough.
you can't plan anything. Like in 2 days, there is an event for parkour,
Hmm.
the same day as Art of Motion, like a Lithuanian local event. And like last week, it showed the whole week of rain, and like it looked like it will be super rainy during this day, but now it shows like sun will be out. So hoping for the best.
I mean, at that point, you just have to accept your fate and like train hard regardless of the weather, you know?
Yeah, actually, I was watching your videos trying to get a grasp of all the nostalgic content you uploaded, and I did saw some training like barefoot in the rain,
Oh yeah, dude, all the time.
like 2008, 2009, even
Uh-huh.
then.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
back I used to train a lot more barefoot back in the day. It was something that I gave up on. Like one day I remember I kicked a rail super hard with shoes on, and I was like, if I had been barefoot, I'd have broken all of my stuff. Like just it's not worth it. So I don't usually train barefoot anymore, but I love training in like the rain. It's fantastic, dude.
why is that? Like, do
Well,
you feel everything more? Like, I don't know, like you get focused on it?
for some reason, okay, so my parkour story started back like the summer of 2007, like midway through, but my
Yeah.
first full season of parkour was in the fall. So I always get like super energetic and energized to train in the fall time. And
Oh, so
so
you
like
basically started during the whole rainy season.
yeah, pretty much like that's so I just get like super intense nostalgia and I'm like, dude, it smells like parkour. I got to get out there, man. And so I'll train pretty hard in the fall and then as much as I can in the winter. And as I said, when it rains in the winter is like the best weather to do parkour because, you know, it's wet, but it's warm. So that makes a huge difference. And then an extra layer that's been added onto it recently for me is I've had like a leg injury since 2015 and then it transformed into like a lower back injury, which you're aware of from when we were hanging out at crap.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what I find is like if I'm training outside in the rain, I can still train hard, like because mentally the challenges are much higher, even though physically they're like not that difficult. Like doing a 7 foot rail stride or whatever isn't physically difficult, but in the rain, you're like, dude, if I mess up, I'm going to die. So it
Oh,
just
that's
makes
an interesting
training,
thing.
yeah, it just makes training fun for me again.
That sounds interesting. Like this, you look at things differently and you bypass your injuries. Like, how did the first
Yeah.
injury happen? Like
The
the
When
leg
did it
injury.
happen?
How did it happen?
So I under rotated a backflip and it just sort of like dislocated my left big toe. And
Oh,
then instead of being a smart person like everyone else and not training anymore, I was like, no, I have to continue sprinting super hard at all times. And so like I kept sprinting, but just my biomechanics were jacked up. And so instead of like the force transferring through my body properly, it started going straight to my shin. And so I developed like an insane stress fracture in my left tibia. And yeah, that just sort of did
so
me in.
you're basically were trying to avoid pain in your toes and just moved elsewhere, pretty much.
I don't really remember doing any intentional compensation for my toe injury. I think I was just running wrong, like, and I didn't even notice.
Oh,
The
okay.
only way that I did work around the toe was for like after you do a top out for a climb up, instead of kicking
Yeah.
off the wall with my left foot, I just do like a hip cast and get my
Oh,
both my feet up onto the wall. That was the only real compensation that I remember doing, but I'm sure my body found ways to let me train for a little while, you know.
yeah, it makes sense. Like I had an injury for my ankle, like a pretty big ankle thing, I would say, and for a month I trained like regularly. But for example, when I did a round off, my one leg was a bit bent, uh,
Mhm.
in not intentionally, like trying to save the least healthy foot, I would say. And even now, my round off is not as great as it used to be because I bend one leg a bit and I
Yeah.
can't get rid of it.
Mhm. Yeah, dude, your
Like,
body remembers stuff. It's crazy.
yeah,
You
like
should probably get
I
that fixed soon.
well, the problem of roundoffs for me is that I do a roundoff to the right, but I twisted the left.
So you just have to learn how to
So
back handspring, man. It'll be fine.
yeah, actually, that's what I'm learning this week. Because my friends are laughing at me like for 2 or 3 years, like, dude, either learn a roundoff to the left or just do a back handspring,
Or you can learn how to twist to your right. That is also an option.
or just ignore everything and do a roundoff to the right and twist to the left.
Yeah, if you set properly, then that's not an issue.
Yeah, I saw a lot of actually previous episode we had Jesse Turner on the podcast, and he does twist to the left and round off to the right, which is interesting.
Got to get on his level, man.
Not having kids yet like he is, but
Dude, what are you doing? You're behind already. You got to keep up.
damn, I have to. I have to. Bro, talking
No,
about the injuries, like, what's the worst injury you got? Was
uh,
that the worst one?
yeah, this is by far the worst injury. I mean, dude, most of my injuries, like back in the day, maybe I'd be out for like a month or two. This one, like, I broke my leg so badly, or I fractured my leg so badly when I went to an orthopedic surgeon. The guy looked at me and was like, "Dude, like, what the hell? Like, I don't understand how you
Whoa.
broke your leg like this." And I'm like, "Dude, you just had to, warm up. It was fine." He's like, "Didn't it hurt?" I'm like, "Yeah, just warm up long enough and it stops hurting. I had to train, dude. Like, I can't stop." And he's like, "This is the worst fracture I've seen." You're like, "Well,
Damn.
can I train soon or no?" And he's like, "Dude, no! You shouldn't even be walking. What are you doing?"
How
So,
long were
yeah.
you out for?
I mean, dude, it's still sort of happening. Okay, let me clarify. So, like, my left tibia, my left shin has been healthy for probably a year and a half or so. So I was out
Okay.
for 2.5, 3 years. I'm sort of foggy on the math. I don't know, but it was a
Damn, that's
super long
crazy.
time. Yeah, and now like I didn't fully ease myself back into parkour, and so I like just trained off my right leg, my other leg a lot to sort of avoid using my left leg, and I didn't strengthen my core and everything enough. So now my like right hip, right back sort of hates me. So I'm in physical therapy for that right now, and I'm hopefully getting towards the end of it, but
Do you feel like it's
we'll
getting
see.
better?
Dude, it's gotten so much better. Like Maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, I couldn't really sit down and not be in pain. And now I can like
Yeah.
sit as long as I want to, and it's not an issue. I can train some parkour, but it's like it's not really the same because every time I'm training, I'm like, all right, so how much am I gonna hurt tomorrow? And then you wake up the next day and you're like, ooh, I don't hurt. This is great. Or, you wake up the next day and you're like, I guess I went too hard. So it's not like I can fully let go and just train as hard as I want?
Yeah, it's not the same as you could just let go pretty much.
Yeah. So
Do you
I'm looking
think what
forward to it. Huh?
do you think if you did any conditioning, like not like conditioning, like a rehab after the injury, you could have gotten back up pretty fast, or no?
Oh, dude. I mean, if I had dislocated my toe and then been like, "Holy shit, I just dislocated my toe. This is awful. I need to take take this very seriously." Then I probably would have been injured until like I got injured in January of 2015 and then I accepted that I was injured in like October. So I probably would have been
Damn,
healed long like if I just dislocated my toe in January, healed and done pre rehab in like
until
February,
summer, pretty
March,
much.
April, I would have been back to training like that year?
Damn, but never really think about it during these times.
Yeah, now I do. I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
So, yeah, like my entire perspective around training has changed a lot. Like when I'll go out and train now, like especially when I was training when I was in Europe when we got to hang out, my the guiding light for my training was always I need to train so that I can still train tomorrow. Like I cannot get hurt again. This is some bullshit. I'm tired of being in physical therapy.
yeah, like it's actually a good approach. I'm seeing the whole actually parkour community is changing its perspective from just chugging tricks to pretty much looking at it as a sport and taking care of your body and doing all the required conditioning training and being prepared for everything.
And I'm so happy that that change is starting to happen because, I mean, if you think about how much progress you could make if you take an even and healthy approach to things, it just far outstrips the just fucking send it approach?
For sure, like Nate Weston is a great example of it. Like he trains for a bit, stretches, trains for a bit,
Yeah,
and
dude.
look at his progress. Like in a few years, it's crazy. Like art of motion now.
Exactly. I mean, if you can stay healthy and you're still enjoying your training, then the progress will take care of itself. Like you don't have to worry about getting better. You'll just naturally force yourself to get better, at least in my opinion. If you're a
Yeah,
person like
yeah,
me.
for sure. And injury, even for a month, when it puts you back, it puts you back hard, pretty much.
I don't know, man. I mean, I've been injured for like 4 years and whenever I'll go out, I'll be like, "Oh, I can do all the same moves that I used to be able to do." Like there aren't that many flips that I've lost. I can still like I can still look at a jump and know that I can do it. Like and sometimes I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm going to be irresponsible and just do this jump." And it's like not hard. It's just I know that it's like not something I can sustain long term. So, I feel like people are worried about losing more skills than they actually probably will, but that's
Yeah,
just my personal opinion?
yeah. Well, you make sense. It
While we're
really
on
depends
this,
from person.
yeah, I mean, while we're on this though, like I've read about a lot of different skills where once you get good enough at a skill, if you just practice it in your mind, it's very similar to actually doing the skill in real life. So if you get hurt and you're like, dude, man, I'm gonna lose everything that I've developed. What you can do instead of like actually going out to train is just do mental training where you like lay in your bed and meditate and just imagine yourself doing the exact moves that you might have been working on earlier so that you can keep them sort of fresh in your mind. And then you really shouldn't lose that much skill with just being out for like a month or two.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about it, not parkour related, but any skill. Like a lot of studies have been done on that. And actually, myself, even during my training, like before trying something harder, I first imagine myself doing it, and then I try to go for it. Like it helps me like to commit fully to it.
Yeah.
Like pretty much, you already know how would it feel in your mind, and you just copy what you just imagined, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, as long as it's something that you're rather familiar with, then it'll work fine. Like if it's something where like, let's say for example, with your round off back full situation,
Yeah.
if you try practicing your round off and then doing a new full technique in your mind, it might be a little harder to transfer that skill just because you're not used to it. But it shouldn't be like an impossible thing. It might just take a little longer or something to that effect, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting approach. Maybe people who are injured might be like it might be good to use this technique just even to try. Still nothing to do. We're
Yeah.
injured.
You're laying in bed anyways. You can either play video games or you can attempt to do parkour in your head.
Yeah, like did you do a lot of video games or not?
No, I played like for real, I played two video games in my life. I played Pokemon games and I played Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Damn, Pokemon games, like my whole
Throwback.
childhood.
Dude, Pokemon was so good. I spent way too much time on it though. I'm
Yeah, I
happy
used
I
to
don't
have
play
like
anymore.
only an emulator for the like old school Game Boy Pokemon games.
You said you have an emulator for them?
I had like a PlayStation Portable, like the old one, the fat
Nice.
one.
Yeah.
Uh, I
I
have no
did
idea where it is right now.
I did emulators for a little bit, but and like one thing that was beautiful about them was you could turn up the speed to like 400%, so walking around in Pokemon wasn't like awful.
Until you get the boots.
Yeah, right. The thing that was a letdown for me with the Pokemon emulators was I wasn't able to like play with any of my friends. Like I couldn't battle them in any way. So that was sad.
Yeah, let's move away from games.
Oh yeah, totally, dude. Whatever makes you happy.
Like I was watching your YouTube videos, and like when I started parkour, you were one of the few people I followed. Like
Yeah.
one, I put like in YouTube parkour or America parkour or something like that. I found the American parkour like the YouTube page,
Yeah.
and then I found you on it like AfroPK,
Uh-huh.
and that's I think I'm still one of your followers on there, like subscribers, one of the first ones.
Hey, hit that bell, all right?
Then like such a realization, like even after the Crap Invaders, where we talked and spent some time, only after that I realized you are the inspiration for my parkour.
I am the inspiration for your parkour.
Yeah, like
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
I remember the video like a driveway, and on the sides there's like a two walls on either side and grass on top.
Uh-huh.
A lot of videos were filmed on that one, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Damn the
My neighbors are
memories.
probably like, "Who is this guy jumping on our driveway? Like, you have your own home.
It's not
Jump
even your
there."
driveway.
No. My driveway is super boring.
I live in an apartment, so it's we don't really pretty much have a driveway. So
True. But yeah,
yeah,
what do
but
you want to know about like my parkour stuff? I mean, I'm super touched that like I was an inspiration for you. That's like awesome.
yeah, like I even your videos from the beginning were not just pretty much training videos, but they were like you're trying to do it cinematically
Yeah.
or link the videos together and like one long run from the beginning to the end. Like I like the approach of that. You're trying to be creative on it, not just pasting your training content.
Yeah, I mean, I've always found that parkour has been like a massive artistic expression for me. One in like creating lines while I'm training, but also for videos specifically. And I remember like I was my most prolific times of making videos was back when I was in high school. And I was always like, dude, I gotta film another video. I gotta like try out something new in like Sony Vegas Pro, or when I got into Premiere Pro, start to use that too. And it was just like a lot of fun. And sometimes it was like the only way that I felt like I could really express myself and have people like pay attention to it. And so, yeah, like making videos was like a really big, important part of parkour and just like my life at that time, you know?
Yeah, nice. Like, did you went out training with the thought of making a video, or just filmed the videos pretty much?
It would really depend. Like sometimes I would have a very specific idea in mind and I'd try to go and be like, all right, well, I know that I'm trying to film for this video, so I'm going to wear that jacket that I've been wearing in all the other lines, and try to do that type of thing. And then other times I would just go out and train for a while with no camera. And then after like a couple of weeks, I'd be like, dude, I've got some new stuff. I should probably film it. And then I'd go out with the intention of just filming for that.
Nice, nice. Like one of your videos, the handstand story.
Yes.
This one, it's the like, how would I say? You can copyright the Tim Schiff's video, like the handstand, day in a handstand or something like that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's like from 2010.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
back then, guys just did like show reels, one in a year, one video a year.
really? I felt like people made videos more often than that.
Maybe I was following wrong people, and
I don't know, man. I
that's
have
why
no
you
idea.
stand out from me.
Maybe
Like,
maybe that's why I stood out.
yeah, because at least a video a month,
Yeah. That
as I
was
recall.
that was always the goal. And like talking about Tim Sheaf, he really did inspire a lot of my like handstand training. And now people will be like, dude, why are you so good at handstands? And I'm like, well, there's this guy that sort of went crazy and became like vegan, but he's not
Live
vegan
wire.
anymore.
Yeah, his story is hard to explain right now.
It's a little weird. I haven't been keeping up. But like yeah, I used to do a lot of handstands and it's actually really funny. My mom has been like a big supporter of my parkour. And that is by far her favorite video. She'll always be like, "Yo, David, like, are you gonna make another handstand video though?" And I'm like, "Mom, why don't you understand? It's the parkour, it's the jumping, that's the cool stuff." She's like, "Nah, I show all my friends the handstand video. And the jumping's cool, but the handstands are where it's at."
Will you make another video of handstands?
I wouldn't be against it. I mean, okay. So I am a school teacher, and every year, this is my. Hey, I'm doing a podcast. Sorry. I'm
Say
doing a
hi for me.
podcast, Mom. It's okay. Speaking of my mom, so I've been a school teacher for the past 2 years, and there will be like different waves when kids figure out that I have a parkour channel, and they'll be like, "Dude, Senior Ivy, are you AfroPK?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm AfroPK." And they're like, "Oh my God, can you do a backflip?" And I'm like, "I am in fact capable of doing backflips." And they're like, "Do a backflip, Senior Ivy!" And I'm like, "Dude, we're in the middle of class. I'm not doing a backflip." But this year, a lot of my kids have been like, "Dude, Senior Ivy, I subscribed to your channel. Can you like make videos again?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I have people that are requiring me to make videos again. I need to get it together. I need to like go find Premiere Pro and like bust out my camera again." So yeah,
Bro, you have to.
I mean, the people are calling. I can't let you all down.
Yeah, like we talked during the Crap Invaders, that Instagram at this time is taking away from YouTube a bit.
Oh
Like
yeah,
people are not creating as much videos on YouTube anymore. The
yeah,
production value is a bit dropping.
yeah. I mean, it's just the influence of social media, I guess. Like, so Instagram is like where parkour lives right now, and so it just changes the form of the media. And I think at this point, I've just sort of accepted that, and I'm just gonna keep making YouTube videos. Like, if I do end up making videos, which I plan on, then I
Do
don't. I'm gonna do it, dude. Don't worry. I'm
it.
going to make YouTube videos because that's just what I like. I'm not super crazy about the Instagram videos because, like, when you try to find an old Instagram video, you just can't. And I don't know. I like putting in a little more effort than what an Instagram video normally seems to require from the parkour community. It's just like, here's what I did for training. Like that's like the main thing, and it's like there's the artistic aspect of it isn't really there for most people. And as I was telling you earlier, like I really like the artistic aspect of making videos, so it's not the right it's not the right form for me.
Yeah, it makes sense. But we talked on the previous podcast with Jesse, like you have to have a social media account still to be like visible in the world, pretty much.
Mhm.
If you don't have a platform, like for example Instagram, you're pretty much invisible. If you want to achieve something through freerunning, for example.
I mean, for me, just based on like the way that my parkour career has gone, like this 4 year long, closing in on 5 year long injury has sort of dissuaded me or disillusioned me from any idea of being like a professional parkour person, which is sad, but sometimes you give up on your dreams. So I don't really have to worry so much about being famous. Like if like it was literally my kids that watch me do parkour that I teach Spanish, and like you watching my parkour videos, if people were like commenting like, "Dude, this was awesome. Thank you so much." I wouldn't really care that like 15 people watch the video.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
So, but
Go
I
for
mean,
it. You have to create videos now.
yeah, I mean, dude, oh man, okay. I promise I will start working on a video this week. Okay, I've got a weekend coming up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
I promise I'm gonna click the bell.
Yes, to all you listeners, go to like and subscribe at AfroPK. I don't know how to do this. This isn't what I do. I'm not a vlogger.
Like, subscribe, hit that bell
Click the
button.
bell. Yeah, there we go. Smash the bell button or something. I don't know what the bell button did to you, but smash it.
Smash it, like, let's not say that. Like, you recently jumped out of the plane, right?
I jumped out of a plane. Yes, I did jump out of a plane. That's correct.
How was it?
Dude, it was so cool. Like
First time?
it was the first time I've ever done it. And for me it was just such a strange experience because you sign up, you pay them like the 100 whatever some dollars, and like they're like, "All right, here's a parachute." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, just get in the plane." You're like, "Wait, I just get in the plane?" They're like, "Yeah, when I tap your shoulder, just like open up your hands and kick your legs back." Like there were no instructions. I was like, "Wait, I'm jumping out of a plane. You're not going to tell me more?" They're like, "No, you're fine." That was insane. Like I didn't understand that. And then
But you
like,
did jump with an instructor, right?
"Oh, dude, yes."
Because there is jumping like without an instructor. That pretty much when you jump off the plane, they immediately put your parachute up.
I haven't heard of that, but I don't want to do that right now.
So how was the
But yeah,
experience?
like,
Like, did you
dude,
like it?
it was amazing. Like it was a really intense adrenaline rush, but it was very different from any sort of parkour adrenaline rush. I can't, I guess for parkour, usually I feel a lot of sensations in my body, like just like lots of energy, you're just feeling good. Whereas with
Yeah.
skydiving, it felt like a lot of pressure in my face. Maybe that was just from the wind, but it didn't feel like a very physical experience. It felt very mental. And so there was like a lot of vertigo as you're falling out of the plane and you're just like rocketing at terminal velocity down towards the ground, and you're like, "Wow, this is crazy. Like I actually jumped out of a plane. What's going on here? This is a strange thing to do, but okay, I'm enjoying this." Dude, it was I if you're into parkour, then you probably like adrenaline, and so I would recommend jumping out of an airplane for you.
Yeah, I have it in my to-do list, pretty much bucket list,
For sure. Do you all have
but
like
not
good
today,
mountains nearby to
not
jump
yet.
near? Well, if you do have like a nice scenery, I'd say like make sure that you get a really beautiful place to jump, because then you're just hanging out in the air in like a weird perspective that you'd never normally get, and you just get to observe everything, and it's fantastic.
Nice. Like, what were your thoughts falling down?
Whew.
How much time did you fall down for? Like minutes? Not yet.
I
No,
think
no,
I
not
think
not
we
a
had like
minute.
2 minutes in the air. I think something to that effect. I just really tried to feel like all the sensations that were happening, mainly in my head, I guess, but somewhat in my body, and just take in the sights and be like, "Dude, this is crazy. Like, when else am I going to be falling at like I don't know 140 miles an hour at the floor, and then like when else am I going to jump out of an airplane? This is crazy." Um, and then like I just tried to make sure that I was doing everything properly, because you got to open your hands and all that stuff at the right time. And then once we had opened up the chute, the instructor let me like guide the chute around. And so I just sort of imitated what he did. Like he'd pull down on one hand for a while, and then even up, and then pull down on the other. So I just tried to imitate that. And then I tried to pay a lot of attention when we were coming in for the landing because
Yeah.
you can die. And like, dude, it was so scary because like at first he was like, "Okay, first we're gonna just land, we're gonna land on our butts, okay?" And I was like, "All right, cool." And then like 2 seconds before we hit the ground, he's like, "Put your feet down, put your feet down." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, dude, why did you just tell me I need to put my feet down? What is this? And so we hit the ground. I'm like, "Wow, that was a lot." And he was like, "Dude, wow, yeah, that was sort of crazy. That the ending got a little wild." I was like, "Thank you for not telling me that while we were in the air, because I didn't need to know that you were sort of freaking out too."
Damn,
But
he
yeah,
was waiting for you to put your feet down, but he didn't
dude,
tell you to.
I don't know. But what he did tell me was that I was one of the best people that he had jumped with, like that he had taken to jump. So I guess whatever I was doing well. I guess I wasn't like freaking out. Some people are
Nice,
freaking
nice.
out in the plane. Yeah.
You're just poker facing down,
I mean,
just
dude,
falling.
I was just trying to soak it in, man. Like that's sort of been like the motto that I've had for the past 4 or 5 months. Like really pay
Just soak it
attention,
in.
soak it in, man. Yeah, like I put it on a sticky note on my steering wheel, and like it's really fascinating for me because at first when you put it on, you like notice it all the time. You'll get in the car and you'll be like, "Oh, I need to be paying attention to my life and enjoy my life as it goes." And then eventually you get used to the fact that you have this weird sticky note just like taped to your steering wheel like no one else does. And then every once in a while you'll just be driving, you're like, "Oh yeah, there's this thing that I've left here." Or someone will get into your car and just look at you funny and be like, "Are you into like weird personal development stuff? Are you like one of those woo woo people?" And you're like, "No, dude, you just gotta enjoy your life as you live it." And they're like, "Okay, pretty sure you're still crazy. Pretty sure I'm gonna figure it out."
Yeah, like you get used to this kind of stuff very fast. Like I recently got a tattoo done on my forearm.
Uh huh.
It was like a month ago, and
Yeah.
I even now I pretty much don't notice it until I look directly at it. It's gotten used like pretty fast.
Yeah, dude. There's this tattoo that I sort of want to get, but I
What is it?
after well, it's like a little I can't really describe it that well. Imagine you have a point, all right? And then around the point you have like little ripples going out around it. It's very simple.
Oh.
It's not like complicated or anything. But the reason why I have it is just because I try to use that to remind myself to focus on what I think is important. Because a lot of times it's very easy for everything to feel like it's just sort of like closing in on me and like demanding all of my attention when it's really just like random stuff that doesn't matter and I won't remember it in like a week. So I always try to like remember that I need to like push everything out, sort of like Dragon Ball Z style, just like push everything out away and be like, all right, what is actually important to me right now? And then like try to focus on that. But yeah, like I had a feeling after the soak it in thing that after I got used to that, I was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't get a tattoo of this because I'll just get used to it and then it won't be effective. Maybe I should just draw it on myself every day. And so sometimes I'll forget
Whoa.
to draw it on, and then people will remind me, or I'll see a Sharpie laying around or a pen, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to draw on my tattoo." So
Yeah, that's a nice approach because you do stop noticing your tattoos.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you have to get a tattoo of a sticky note saying that.
I have seen people s- with tattoos that just say to do list, and it's like a 1, 2, 3, and they can just write their to do list on their arm.
That's nice.
It seems a little strange, but whatever works for them. It's their body.
For sure. Like I like your approach, like getting focus on the things that matter the most, not on everyday things that don't really matter,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
getting the mind straight.
yeah, our society is sort of like designed to make you not focus on things that are important. It's designed to make you focus on things that are urgent, things that you need to do right now, but that doesn't make them actually important pretty often. Like, the number of dings you get on your phone in a day is insane, and like most of them probably don't move you towards having a better life. So it's
That
just
is
I
true.
I try to consistently make sure that I'm thinking about what will get me to where I'm going and where I want to go in the first place. Because otherwise, I feel
Where
like
are you
I'll
going?
just, man. So I have this crazy goal, and it's only a crazy goal because I'm a teacher, and so I don't make that much money compared to other people with similar education in the States. But
Okay.
I would like to make enough money and not really need to work by the time I'm like 35 to 40. That's my goal for one of my
How
goals.
old are you?
I'm currently 26, so I've got some time.
Well, like, why do you have this goal? Why 35, for example?
Um, I don't really like working. Like, I think, well, okay, let me rephrase that. I like to work, but I would like it better if I didn't always have to work, which is sort of why I like being a teacher, because like for 2.5, 3 months of the year I don't have to work. It's pretty awesome. But also, like, there are some days where I'm just like, dude, I don't want to have to feel that I have to do this thing. Like, I don't I'm a very independent person, and if I have to depend on a job, then I feel like that sort of cuts down on my independence, and then I have to, like, sort of change things that I'd want to say or things that I wanna do or plans that I have for myself to make sure that I continue having that job. So if I don't have to worry about having the job, then it's like, "Okay, well, I really wanna go on this vacation, and you all are saying I can't go on this vacation because X, Y, and Z." And I can say, "Okay, guys, it was fun. But since you all aren't listening to me, I'll just have to go." And they'll be like, "Wait, what? You can't do that." I'm like, "No, no, no, I can. It's fine. I don't have to worry about it. I've got my money stuff figured out." So I just want to have the freedom. So that's one of my
Yeah.
goals. Money is not the only thing that I care about in my life. I would also like to do parkour until I'm like super stupidly old and just be like, "Yes, I am 75, but I still go hard." Like that it's another goal that I have. So first I have to get back into fully training, and then once I'm back into fully training, I have to make sure that I'm training smart the whole time, like doing my resting, my conditioning, my stretching, my rehab, prehab, all that stuff, and not like doing insane like roof height drops. Not taking like crazy height drops so I can like still train for the rest of my life. And then I'd like to get better at like I like to paint and I like to salsa dance. So just getting better at all that stuff, dude. Those are all things that I got in mind.
Nice. Like, I'd like to stop you for a moment and just go over the things like
Yeah, totally.
you want to reach the point where you can be free and do whatever you want, pretty much. Not be, how do you say that? Not be dependent on the some kind of workplace, some kind of boss. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
But for example, if money was not an issue and you could do whatever you want, what would you think you would be doing today?
What would I do today? That is a
Yeah,
great
like
question. So when I was traveling in Europe, I got to think about that a lot. And so probably what would happen is I would go through different periods of alternating between doing something back home because I really like being at home. I like to see my family, hang out with my friends and everything. But I would also go travel and do some sort of like really intense trip. Like I have this dream of biking from like the northern part of the United States all the way down to the southernmost tip of South America. That would be cool. I might get started on that trip and then be like, "Wait, why continue down to the bottom of South America when I could just hang out in like Colombia for like the next 4 years and do whatever I want to do?" Like I wouldn't be against that. So I'd want to do some sort of like cool bike trip like that. I'd probably paint a whole lot more just because I wouldn't have to worry about like selling any paintings. I'd just be like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go paint this thing. If people don't like it, whatever." I dance salsa a lot more too because why not? You can spend every night dancing salsa here in DC. We have a really good salsa scene, so I'd just be able to go out all the time. I'd get better at cooking. I'd become like the best trophy husband ever. That would be my goal.
Actually, I wanted to touch up a bit on the painting, pun
Yeah.
intended. Uh, like, did you start painting when the injury came, or like you were painting right even before that?
No, I was painting. I got to hang out with one of my friends, Valentin Dubois, while he was doing art school in the south of France. He actually has done some competitions, I think, with the Fig. Not sure, but that's probably where people would know him from. And he was like, "Hey, David, you can come hang out with me for like the week, but I'm in the middle of finals, so I can't really chill with you. But I have all this art stuff you can paint here." And I was like, "All right, cool." And so I just like paint for like 10 hours a day because I was terrible at it, and I was like, "This sucks. I need to get better." So I started painting like halfway through 2014. I painted a good amount during 2015. And then once I broke my leg, I had just unlimited time to paint, man, because I couldn't do parkour. And I couldn't actually like walk. I had to have like a boot and be on crutches at the same time. It was awful. So I painted a lot like in that time period, like 2016 time. And then now I'm sort of on and off with it. Like I'll paint. I joke with people that I paint like one painting a month, or maybe twice two paintings in a month. But that's just because school is sort of crazy right now.
Yeah, like I saw you paint pretty much like abstract. How would you call
Um,
it?
I think it would be classified as like expressionist art because it's not like I'm really worried about realistically capturing a scene. And it's sort of got like a lot of weird Van Gogh influences of like squiggly lines with color. So I think it would go with that.
Yeah, I'm so bad at art. I tried to ask a art question, and let's not go there deeper.
Dude, it's totally fine, man.
Especially in
Not
English, I
everybody
don't
knows.
know these things.
Dude, I think it's so cool that you're doing an interview in English. Because, I mean, I'm a Spanish teacher, so I'm pretty sure I could do an interview in Spanish, but, like, it would be hard, you know?
Yeah, you have to go for it. Well, my job is I work in cybersecurity and I work in a US firm, I would say.
Oh,
So my
shit.
day-to-day job is English,
Yeah,
but a lot of Lithuanians, but we do speak in English between teams. So
dude,
somewhat
that's super cool.
familiar with English, but
I mean, you seem to be doing fine, and you're able to talk about a highly technical, like, field, so I'm pretty sure you're very fluent.
at least confidence is the key, you know.
It does make a big difference, but sometimes if you don't understand what someone said because your listening skills are sort of not up there, then confidence can't save you on that one.
Yeah, for sure. I have a question written down
Yeah.
very randomly. Like, how did you feel when you found out that your camera had an HD setting and you were shooting in low resolution?
Did I?
There is a video HQ test, like high quality
Oh,
test.
see, dude, you know my life better than I do at this point. I vaguely remember that video now. Um, I guess I probably felt really disappointed. What I do remember is this one video, is the Adrift video. I don't know if you watched that one, but I figured out some way to like export in like the exact resolution that I shot in, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And I swear to God, it's probably the highest quality video that I've ever shot. Even though I've shot with like a real DSLR, that was on like a Sony CX100 or something, like one of those hand camcorder things. And I was just like blown away by the quality. I was like, "Dude, this is wild! Like, what in the world?" I didn't know that rendering settings were this important. But you learn something new every
Yeah, I
day.
just turned this video on. It's you filming pretty much everything from the shopping carts to
Yeah, dude, that
trains.
that video, I was like all up in my feelings for that video. Let me tell you.
It definitely looks like it.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, as I told you, it was like a great way for me to express myself. So thank God I had art, man. Otherwise, I would have been just out there doing super weird shit. I mean, I was already
Dude,
doing weird things, so it would have just been even
I
more
already
intense.
clicked the bell button. You have to upload more.
Hey guys, click that bell button. Click it.
Smash it.
Smash the bell button. I
Dude,
mean,
I want to touch a bit on the art of motion thing. Like it's happening in 2 days. The
yeah, totally.
not even in
What do
two
you want to
days.
say about it?
For me, it's in one day. It's Friday already
What are
for
your
me.
questions for me about Heart of Motion?
Did
Okay.
you follow who went through to the finals?
Dude, I have not been keeping up with parkour stuff much at all, so I have no idea what's going on,
Yeah, because I
unfortunately.
wanted to ask, like, what would be your top three? Do you think
I'm gonna say Nate Weston. Who else is competing?
Ed
Alfred.
Scott,
I
Spin Boy?
who's Spin Boy? Is he the
Oh, you don't know
guy
Spin Boy?
from
He's from
Vietnam?
Thailand. Yeah,
Hey, I'm not totally out of the loop. So my guess, having not seen anything, is that Spin Boy's going to do really well, as will Nate Weston, because I feel like they both have styles that are very well suited for competition. And
yeah.
then Spin Boy seems like he's got a whole lot of flow, if I'm not mistaken. So he'll probably do well. Like what I found sad about the past Art of Motions was like when you'd have people with like super high flip skill levels, like Alfred Scott, not do as well just because they didn't adjust their style enough for the competition itself, like the flow aspect of it or whatever. So we'll see how that goes this year. You know.
Yeah, I recall Alfred Scott just going to the comp, doing one thing just to get the best trick and just ending the line.
All right, guys, it was fun. It was real. Did he win that one?
Yeah, he did win the big trick. I think he did a gate 360, if I recall correctly.
Jesus
He just
Christ.
walked up to it, did it. I think he didn't land the first time, so he did the second time. That was his run, and he just landed it and
Just called it
got
a
the best
day.
trick. Yep.
He's like, all right, thanks. It was fun. Bye.
Yeah. The next, actually, guy who was, I think, might get to the podium is Christian Kovalevsky. Not sure if you know him.
Um, I think I've seen his Instagram. He's really good.
Yeah, he's from Poland, and I've met him a few years ago when he was just still starting out, and I felt so much energy from him. Like he was super, super happy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Took the first place in that competition in Latvia, I think, Riga.
Yeah,
And he didn't stop since. He's a beast now, and I think he'll take the podium for sure,
dude,
like top
that
three.
is so awesome. I'm excited to see that. I mean, I just remember watching him do flips, and I was like, this man can tuck so hard. Like, the amount of flexibility in this tuck is insane.
Yeah, I'm thinking Ed Scott might take the win for it since he is prepared for the competitions.
Yeah,
He's doing competitions every month at least, and his runs are pretty much comp.
that's so solid. What do you think makes a really good competition athlete?
That's a good question. Like, I wouldn't say an athlete. Like, there is a type of run in different competitions. For example, NAPC, at least
Mm-hmm.
from what I saw from the side, they're focusing not on the most difficult things, but at the execution. I would say you
Yeah.
have to throw down difficult things, but they have the separate category for the big trick, so you don't have to put your hardest trick in the competition line.
Mm.
But for Red Bull, I think the the biggest tricks and the best executed biggest tricks might take the win,
All
even though
right.
if the flow is not as best.
I was always under the impression that the flow aspect of it was like super important, but maybe I just haven't been keeping up well on it. I don't know.
Yeah, we will see actually.
Time will tell. How are you watching it? Because for the people like myself who are not as up to date on all the parkour things, like, is it just on Red Bull's site?
Pretty much I saw from the old stories of other freerunners because I think the
Ah,
not the main competition but the qualifications are not live streamed. But on the Red Bull side, the main event will be live streamed.
yeah, it says live stream in 38 hours. Cool. All right, I don't want to get us in too deep into the weeds on that one.
Yeah. I have like an interesting question. What's the best thing about freerunning, about parkour for you?
Oh man. Oh, why are you making me answer hard questions, dude?
The
Jesus.
rain is the best thing.
I mean, maybe
The smell.
let's see. I guess there are multiple things that I love about parkour, like just getting used to be out sort of outside of the normal perspective that the world has. Like you obviously the basic you look at the world and you're like, "Whoa, man, that's not a wall, that's a playground." Like there's obviously that, but also just like the idea of just doing hard things just because they're fun. And I feel like that has sort of helped me see the opportunities and like the positive things in some challenges. Like I know lots of people hate the rain, but in the wintertime, I'm like, dude, the rain's the best because at least it's warm, you know? Or I like going to the gym because it'll make me stronger, which helps me get good at parkour. So there's been like that mental aspect of it. It's also been really nice just knowing that I can pretty much go anywhere in the world and be like, hello, random people that I don't know or share a language with. I would like to jump with you. And they're like, of course. Like, I think it was 2015. So after I had dislocated my big toe and was starting to break my shin, I was on a trip around Europe after graduating from college, and I went to Lisbon, and I just wanted to jump on stuff with people, and I just like posted on the Facebook group or whatever, and somebody was like, "Hey, man, I'll go out there and train with you," and I was like, "All right, let's go," and I show up, and I'm like this to them. I've had the story told to me from someone else's perspective, and they're like, "Yeah, you know, this like weird dude shows up with like a trash bag of his stuff." And he speaks really weird Portuguese, and we just thought he was like crazy and we didn't know what was going on, but we just decided to stick with it cuz he had Fayus on. Like we thought he might end up being a normal person. And then like they were like, "Oh yeah, he did some stuff, but he said he was like injured, so you know, we don't know." But his parkour seemed pretty okay, and figured out that he wasn't in fact from like Spain, that he was American, and so we just spoke to him in English, and then he was like cool, you know.
Damn.
Whereas
Parkour is the language we speak.
yeah, dude, and like for me that was super important when I studied abroad in Spain. I studied abroad in Spain for a year because I wanted to improve my Spanish, and I also wanted to go hang out in one of the best parkour communities in the world and live in Madrid for a year. And so the reason why I say that I'm fluent in Spanish now is because I stayed in Spain for that long, and I just went out and trained with parkour people as often as I possibly could. And like midway through the year, I realized that the most important thing for me to do while I was in Spain was to go to parkour, because like I needed to learn how to speak Spanish well, and hanging out with people that I had easy access to through my university didn't help me with that because they all just spoke English. And so like I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the least amount of work in all of my classes so that I can get good grades, and then I'm gonna just go jump on stuff. And dude, that worked so well. And it also like unlocked this perspective for me. If anyone wants to hear about how to do well in college, I just shifted my focus from doing everything, all of the things that are urgent. I don't know if you remember that from earlier in the conversation. I switched from
Yeah.
doing all the things that were urgent to focusing all my time on the most important things. And so for school, academically, it was learning how to speak Spanish well, which was completed by doing parkour, and then focusing on like writing my papers really well in the least amount of time so that I could go back to speaking Spanish well. So, yeah, that's why yeah, sorry. I lost my train of thought. That's why I love parkour, because parkour is the reason why I speak Spanish now, and the reason why I was able to learn Portuguese because I spoke Spanish, which made it easier. And so, like, it gives you a reason to hang out with people long enough for you to get to figure out how to understand and talk to them. And yeah, dude, it's just like a great way to get to know people and see different parts of the world and see it from a different perspective. So, yeah, I'd say those two reasons are sort of the top.
It looks like each part of your life is influenced by parkour in some way.
Dude, parkour is my life, which is why being injured for 4 years is sort of awful. But you know, you figure it out. It's been good for me to be a muggle for the past couple of years, and now I'm ready to return to parkour land. I'm ready.
Dude, I'm waiting for those videos.
Dude, get excited, man. I'm waiting for my physical therapist to say, "All right, David. you have to go do parkour as hard as you can now. Because, like, I think a month ago, he was like, all right, David, you have to start training again. I was like, look, I'm not trying to start training again and then break myself. Like, nah, I'm done doing that. I'm gonna stop training parkour until I'm ready to train parkour. He was like, David, you're ready to train parkour. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with myself now. Oh my goodness. Like, so I think for me, it'll be like a little bit of a learning experience about how to train very basically. Because, like, as I was telling you, like, my skill level has not decreased at all. My mental is pretty much on point. It's just my body is like not with it. So I have to go super slow for like the next, I don't know, 3 to 6 months. And hopefully my body will eventually catch up, you know?
Yeah, just take care of your body, don't rush it.
Yeah, dude, it's just hard to not rush because parkour is amazing.
Especially with autumn now coming, with the rainy season.
Dude, it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna have to really work to restrain myself.
Focus on the videos, not on the parkour, and it will be all good.
I will focus on the videos and, make sure that I can continue doing parkour as long as possible. That'll be the goal.
Nice. I wanted to ask you, like, what's the worst thing about parkour, but I think injuries would be for you?
Mhm.
Or wouldn't you say so?
The injuries really suck for me, but I think overall, parkour can be like a way of keeping people slightly out of touch with reality. And so, one thing that I find really worrisome in the parkour community is just like people not fully being here, Like,
What do you mean?
let's, okay, so for example, like, I vaguely remember Tim Sheaf just going into some like super deep esoteric weird stuff back in his like deep vegan days. And there were tons of people who were like, "Yeah, man, like for example, you don't need to eat food, just look at the sun. That's totally fine." Like, and I'm like, "Guys, no, like that is just irresponsible to say stuff like that. What are you talking about?"
These were
Or
legit comments like that?
I feel like, dude, this is very, very deep and vague in my memory at this point, but it's not so much this exact example, it's just this kind
Yeah.
of behavior. People say stuff that's like low key crazy, and everyone's like, yes, that's fine. Or, like, for example, I've seen different mental health moments in the parkour community, and there are some people who are like, dude, this is really freaking serious, man. Like, we need to deal with this. And other people are like, dude, it's serious, but like, they're on a journey, and you're like, dude, they can die. Like, you need to really take this seriously. So sometimes I feel like parkour just keeps people slightly outside of our normal society, which is good to a certain extent. And then some people will just sort of get too far. And so, like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it seems like a hindrance in some situations. And then other times there'll be people who are like, dude, man, I really want to make parkour my whole livelihood. And I'm like, yes, you should. That sounds like a good thing to do. But you might need to have a job for now so that you can save money and help yourself make parkour your full-time livelihood. Because if you're trying to do it from like being broke, it's going to be super hard. Or if you don't have health insurance, which is a thing that we have to deal with in America, you all in like Europe seem to have a better, more civilized society out there. But for us, it's like if you don't have a job and you break your leg, you're screwed. Like, you're just out of luck. You're going to have to pay thousands of dollars to get your leg fixed. Whereas for you all, it'd be like, yeah, $100, please. And you're like, all right, that's not how it is. So, like, you'll have people that have this idea, but then they have the idea of making a living off parkour, which I think is great. And then they won't have like a fully thought out way of getting there. Like, I need to avoid all financial ruin, which is very likely to happen as a parkour athlete if you don't have health insurance because you might get injured, like, happens when you do an extreme sport. And then you're just screwed because you have thousands of dollars of medical debt, or you need to get physical therapy and you can't because you don't have health insurance. Like, you have stuff like that. People don't want to get jobs because they think it'll keep them from training, but you can only I don't feel like you can train like 60 hours in a week, like maybe having a part-time job would be okay for you, and you can still train, and you can afford decent food, so you feel like training instead of living off ramen noodles and being exhausted at all times, and you don't understand why. Like, I guess that kind of thing, sorry for rambling there, is like the big downside that doesn't necessarily directly affect me, but seems to be a wider parkour community problem.
Yeah, I think our community being pretty young, that's uh, that's one of the things, because you don't have any good examples of people reaching those levels. Like you have 4 or 5 runners who are pretty much pro athletes, like 10, 20 max, that are 100% being free runners sustainably,
Yeah.
and you don't really get a good view on how to do it, and you just imagine something in your head,
Mhm.
and it's pretty much mindless, and you really have to think about it.
Well, I mean, you can look at other extreme sports and sort of see what their model is. One big issue that we have though right now is we just don't have that much infrastructure in the parkour community to that would let you support yourself. Like if you had something like some sort of pipeline more directly into the stunts community, then you could do something like that for parkour. If you had some sort of sponsorship type of thing like you do with climbing, like through REI or is it Cliff Bar or something to that effect, then you could figure out a way like that. Right now, the parkour brands that we have are too small right now to fully fund people. I think the best sponsorships that I hear from are like from the parkour community itself is like Etrafort, right? And they might I don't think they send enough money for you to like fully live off of that. So we just need to get we just need to develop it a little more, and I don't know if this generation will be able to widely live off of parkour, but if we do it right, then we should be able to do the next generation or two where they can fully sustain themselves off parkour.
Yeah, like I like looking at the skateboarding culture as a point of view for parkour culture to move towards, because it's very similar. I would like to leave it as a street sport, not as
Hmm.
a Fig is trying to do, pretty much move to the safer environment. Like for now, if you win the top level competitions in parkour, you get pretty much like a $2,000, if not less.
Yeah.
And in skateboarding, if you win one of the bigger competitions, you pretty much get like almost 1 million,
Holy
and you pretty
crap.
much live on it, and from 1 or 2 comps.
Yeah.
And with parkour, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why I wanted to start my parkour podcast in the first place is just to help people get better with money. And then also, if at some point we do get to the point where we are making that kind of prize money, then people would hopefully already have good financial skills laid down. So it wouldn't be like, yeah, I won $1 million when I won like the NAPC comp, and then I bought all my boys homes and now I don't have money, like I wouldn't want something like that to happen.
For sure.
But I'm hoping that like with time, like we'll become more exposed to like the consumer market and people will be like, "Whoa, dude, that Modus Project line is sick. Let me go buy that." And then they'd be able to start funneling more money back into the community and like pay people full-time jobs for doing work and just training. Like I think it'll happen at some point. It just might take a little while.
Yeah, like the top athletes, I would say, are pretty young, that are doing this, like 20, 22 until 25.
Mhm.
And if you recall, for example, yourself at 20, how good was your money management?
Oh, let's see. When I was 20, actually, dude, I've been really good with money my whole life, so I don't think I'm a good example.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But but you get my point, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
not a lot of young guys and gals are thinking about it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, Dude, the parkour community is so malleable in so many ways. Like,
For sure.
we've gotten people to become obsessed with jumping on walls. Like, you can make it a fairly normal cultural thing within the parkour community to say, all right, dude, you made a butt ton of money. You should probably invest at least 20% of that or something so that down the line, if you don't win another big thing, like, it's okay because you took care of yourself. And now, you paid your taxes, so the IRS isn't coming to put you in jail. Again, I don't, yeah, actually, you all have taxes too, jeez. And then, you've spent the money on fun things that you wanted to spend it on too, but you've also made sure that you were sort of responsible. And like, if you see people doing that already, then like, okay, let's say Jason Paul makes a whole bunch of money one year and he's like, yes, I need to take care of my child that's coming into the world. So let me do these responsible things, which he probably would do because Jason seems like a responsible guy. And then some kid has been watching Jason Paul be a responsible adult for like 5 years because they've been watching his vlog forever. They're not going to be like, I need to act like a trap rapper and spend all my money on bling because that's not the cultural norm in the parkour community. They might be like, I'm gonna have a kid one day. Maybe I should like maybe put away a little bit of money. Like that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not expecting them to be like perfect. They're 20. You should go enjoy your money while you got it. But you should also be slightly responsible too. Like that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, but looking at the parkour community, it's pretty well formed in that way, I would say. You don't see, like, how would I put it? You don't see that many like bad behavior in
Yeah.
it. Not sure how should I put it.
Like I'd say
It's going
financially
in the right
irresponsible
direction.
was the phrase I'd use. But yeah, I would agree with that. Right now, I feel like our culture sort of forces you towards that because a lot of us are fairly young. We haven't gotten too far into our community, into our careers, and so you just don't have a lot of money to throw around. The people that I have seen with like really advanced careers and they're just like kicking butt in terms of like career wise, they seem to be doing like they're super responsible, and so I think those people will be good people to spotlight and say like, "Hey guys, like look at these people. They're doing the thing right." And you like love hanging out with them. They're enjoying their money, but they're still doing parkour and they're living life well. So I think as people are growing up, as our current cohort of the community grows up, I think we'll be pretty much fine. I'm not worried about us going and spending too much money on like stupid stuff, but they're just like little things that people might need help with, like how to invest properly, how to watch out for like taxes and make sure you're paying your taxes well and all that super boring stuff that's like comes with adulting isn't fun, but you sort of got to do it.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to your podcast. It's your time to plug it here.
Yeah, everybody go listen to my podcast. It's called Funding the Jump, Funding, the Jump, spelled normally. And there you'll be able to listen to me interview different parkour people who are doing cool things either within the parkour community and the parkour industry or just people who are sort of doing their own thing outside of the parkour community, but they're still training hard and pushing themselves. So you can probably find that information in the description. And yeah, give it a listen.
And hit that bell button.
Hit the bell button, guys. Don't forget.
How many episodes you have recorded?
I've released 3 episodes, I think, but I've recorded like 3 that I haven't released yet. So
Nice.
I'm
So
not
it's
as
still
prolific
still at
as
the
you yet.
beginning.
Still at the beginning. But if people want to get interviewed, I'm thinking about doing like a week-long challenge where I try to interview someone every day of the week so I can get better at it. So that it's like I feel less resistance in doing it in the first place because I've just practiced enough.
Yeah, actually, me and Titas talked about releasing a podcast for like 2 years or so.
Oh my
And when
God.
we saw others just releasing podcasts left and right, and we thought, let's do it.
Yeah.
We grown our balls enough.
Your balls have expanded. I am proud of you.
Yeah.
You are finally a man.
Yeah, we did it. Episode 5.
Dude, good job, man. Yeah, I saw that you all have been like releasing one a week or something crazy like that,
We're
right?
trying 2 a week, like one on a
Woo!
Wednesday and one on Sunday, but it's
Yeah.
getting up to us. We'll try to record more of it. It's hard to
Yeah.
record more episodes because the Art of Motion was right before,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people are getting prepared for it and didn't have much time. But I think we're gonna bang some episodes after the Art of Motion.
Dude, yes.
We'll see how it goes.
Dude, I'm so excited for you. I think this is going to be super cool.
Let's do this.
Hell yeah. I'm going to start filming more videos, and you all are going to keep recording more podcasts.
For sure. Imagine like in 10 years going back to it.
Yeah, this is my first episode that I ever did. We'll probably... Actually, no. I really... Returning to the videos for a moment, I love going back and watching my old videos. Like, after I hit like 3 years of parkour is when I was like, oh snap, I'm actually sort of good at this. This is cool. This is awesome. And like before then, you're just like, there's so many good vibes, like just all those good times, like training and like learning how to do climb ups well, and just like everything was new. Dude, that was a really fun time in my life.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, recently I got into filming way more, doing like these vlog episodes, I would say. And the goal behind it is like to look back at it with my like grandchildren, like after 50 or whatever years, and just having everything documented. Like I wish for like my grandfather to film everything he did, and just to be able to go through it and just see what his life was about.
Dude, my
That's a huge
granddad...
motivation to me.
Yeah, dude. No, I feel the same way. Like, I actually got that idea from this guy Skipper from APK. He made some video, and like the description was like, "I'm just doing this so I can show it to my grandkids." And I was like, "Dude, I'm like 15 and I never even thought about that, but that's an awesome idea." And yeah, like as you were saying, I would love to see what my granddad had been up to back in the day, because like both of my granddads did some crazy stuff. Like one of my granddads was in World War... Was he in World War II? No, he was in the Korean War and in World War II. Yeah,
Damn,
pretty sure he's...
imagine
Yeah,
like daily vlogs from
dude.
these times.
Yeah, bros, what's up? We're just out here in Italy trying
Hit the
to
bell
free them
button,
from the
hit the bell button.
Nazis. Yeah, bros, we're gonna go shoot some Nazis, bro. Hit the bell button for every kill we get. Like, dude, that'll be
And you have
insane.
a GoPro in your mouth doing POV.
Woo! Man. Yeah, so
Damn.
we got to do it. We have to make the videos that we wish that we had gotten to watch when we were
Yeah,
children.
I'm trying to document pretty much every training session I have. Not
Mm-hmm.
even if it's a shitty one, even if I don't release a video from it, but I still keep the footage and for the future.
Dude, that's so cool. All right, man, you're making me... I got to go train now. You've convinced me.
I have to go to sleep now. It's almost 1 a.m. for me.
Oh my goodness. All right, dude. Stay healthy, all right?
You
Get some
too,
sleep.
man. Thanks for doing this. Awesome
Dude,
to
no
have
problem,
you
man. It
here.
was super fun getting to talk to you.
Let's stop the recording. Thank you
Let's
guys
stop
for
the recording.
listening,
Thank you, guys.
and see you on the next one.
Peace out.